Hi everyone, Jess here, and today I'm joined with Jane Ashton, Sustainability Director at EasyJet. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Very welcome.
So firstly, why is it so important to work as an ecosystem when we're navigating sustainability?
I think collaboration is key for aviation. There are so many disparate parts of the value chain that working collectively across the value chain is really a way to make progress, and certainly when it comes to the new technologies that are going to be available for aviation, we're finding we're working with very different types of organisations than we have done before. So one example, for instance, is the alliance that we've just formed called the Hydrogen in Aviation Alliance. So that's an alliance that was launched earlier in September this month. And with partners such as Airbus, such as Ørsted, which is one of the world's largest renewable energy companies, with our partners Rolls-Royce, with Bristol Airport, with GKN Aerospace, so a wide variety of partners, and we're working together to make hydrogen for short-haul aviation a reality, and particularly working with governments and regulators to identify the milestones that will be required to decarbonise via hydrogen. So the infrastructure, the green hydrogen supply that will be required, the regulations, the policies, the safety frameworks. So that's just one example of why working collaboratively across the ecosystem is going to be really necessary to decarbonise.
Fantastic, and yeah, that Hydrogen Alliance was huge news, and it's really exciting to see these big names all coming together in the pursuit of sustainability and furthering this goal. As we push towards these targets, airlines seem to be adopting quite a multifaceted strategy. What are you at EasyJet prioritising and why?
Yes, you're quite right. There's no silver bullet to decarbonising aviation. So there's a number of levers that make up our net zero pathway. We launched our net zero pathway a year ago, last September, and we have that validated, independently validated by the Science-Based Initiative, Science-Based Targets Initiative, the SBTi. And we have an interim target to reduce our carbon intensity by 35% by 2035, and to almost reach an 80% reduction in carbon intensity by 2050. And the way we're going to do that for the period between now and 2035 is multifaceted, as you said. So we'll be investing in our fleet renewal, and in particular the Airbus Neo family of aircraft, which are at least 15% more carbon efficient than their predecessors. We are investing a huge amount of time and energy into operational efficiencies, which is really reaping benefits in the short term. Sustainable aviation fuel will also be a key part of our decarbonisation strategy, and of course we'll be adhering to the EU and the UK mandates over the next few years. And also we're calling on governments across Europe to address the challenge of airspace modernisation, because that again could make significant inroads into decarbonising European aviation.
Fantastic, thank you for elaborating on that. And as we keep sort of looking forward, one of the trends that we're seeing is an increase in passengers, obviously with COVID and recovery, but now looking forward, the number of people who are flying seems to be growing massively. How can the industry reconcile this trend with pursuing sustainability?
Well, I think the focus for us is taking the carbon out of aviation rather than stopping people flying. People care massively about climate change and the impact of flying, but they aren't going to stop flying, and therefore our absolute focus is how to decarbonise this industry and how can we show the way. We've always been pioneers at EasyJet, so it's very much in our DNA, and it's something that is embraced across the whole of the organisation.
Great. And looking to the next decade or so, how do you think the industry's approach to eco-consciousness will evolve? Obviously, we're having loads of conversations about it now, but what's this going to look like in the future?
Well, I think efforts will only intensify. Technology is evolving so fast. It's really encouraging. We've just seen, just yesterday in fact, new successful trials from our Rolls-Royce partnership that we're investing in for modern aero engines to be running on hydrogen fuel, and we'll see more of those ground and rig trials over the next few years. Definitely technology is evolving very fast, and what we need to try to ensure is that the regulatory and the policy framework evolves to enable hydrogen to scale in line with the speed of technology.
That's great, thank you. And events like today's are all about collaboration and driving the industry forward. How do you think this catalyzes development in the industry?
Well, it's really gratifying to see how much of the focus here is on sustainability in aviation. I think more so than ever before, we just heard in the last panel that the CEO discussion was 90% about sustainability apparently, so that's great. So I think bringing people together from across the value chain to discuss the solutions is absolutely essential, so it's a great role you're playing here.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you making the time.
You're very welcome.